this is the project for helping students to write through a short story. The first part where you would go over with them the kind of project instructions. And the project instructions like help them get an idea for the boundary of what their story is going to be about. When you just tell a kid to sit down and just write a story, then it's kind of too many options for them. So they don't know where to start because it's too broad. And so the project instructions comes in and tells them particularly what will happen in this story. So like in the second paragraph, we love to see characters be brave and rise to the occasion. It's inspiring to see someone feel beaten down, but they don't give up, they keep trying. And so when you walk the kids through this part of the project, then they can have a handle on like, oh, I know, like I have an idea of what challenge, and I know how it feels to want to give up. And then they get the ball rolling a little bit already. And then down on the next page, I like to have them start with the character profile. So every story needs a main character. And this is the part where they can choose a lot of different options that they want. Like they could do a human, a boy or a girl, they could do an adult, they could do an animal like a bird or a cat, or they could even choose a character from a story they know already. Like they could write about Pikachu, or they could write about Hello Kitty, and that could be their main character. And the role of the parent with these prep worksheets is to just kind of give them options and to feed them ideas and say like, oh, Hello Kitty could be holding an umbrella. Do you want to draw her with an umbrella? Or, whoa, what color are the shoes of your character? And asking them questions, giving them options to choose from, that's all going to stimulate their creative process. And then choosing that personality trait there at the bottom is like helps them to get a feel for the personality, the character of their main person. Going to the next one, then the next part is the setting. So the character needs to be in a kind of a place. And this word bank has a lot of options, like the character could have their home underwater, like it could be an octopus who lives underwater, or maybe they live in a castle and it's a story about a princess, or maybe they live in a cloud palace up in the sky and it's a fairy. And so all of these are ideas to try and spark their imagination. And so they can choose one. If they seem like they're overwhelmed, sometimes kids get overwhelmed with still like feeling like too many options, then that's where the parents can come in and help them and kind of narrow down and give them like, oh, do you want it to be on a boat or in a treehouse? And they can choose between one of two options instead. And then they can draw the picture. So this is where for writing, it's really important to stimulate the visualization process. We want them to be able to see what's going on in their imagination, and that way they'll have something to write. So the prep work is all about that visualizing and drawing. And so they'll draw a picture showing their character's home, and they'll have a feel for where this person lives. And once you have the place, that can give lots of ideas for what's going to happen in the story as well. And that's where the parents can guide them through that. Like if there is a cave and their home is a cave, like what if, oh no, there's an avalanche and the cave gets blocked? And that could be the challenge that they have to overcome in the story, and they have to dig around, or they have to call for help. Or if there's a volcano, then, oh no, the volcano can erupt. And so one can lead to the other once they have an idea of the place of their story. Going down to the third one. So this part is really important to give those steps of like what will happen next, because this is where a lot of students get stuck as they're writing. Is they'll write a couple sentences and then they'll say like, I don't know what happens next. And so that's why the part of the prep work helps them to create and plan out like, oh, here's where to go next. first the main character discovers a new challenge. So wherever their home is, they have to find it. Like, oh no, my cheese fell into a hole, I have to get it out. Or, oh no, Pikachu lost his electricity, how can he recharge? Then they extend the process. Like if they were to just find the challenge and then overcome it right away, then it wouldn't feel like an exciting story. So we draw out the process for a little bit. So scene 2, the main character tries to overcome the challenge the first time and they fail. So there's going to be failure and disappointment. Then scene 3, after they fail, there's that processing time. There's the when you kind of cry or you're upset and you get frustrated, you throw something and then you think about it. Oh, what just happened? How do they feel? What are they going to think about in that processing their failure? And then scene 4, the main character tries to overcome the challenge again, because this is a story about perseverance, about not giving up, about keeping on going. What do they do differently this time? Will they succeed? And so that's when we as the reader want to know, like, oh, maybe they're going to succeed this time or maybe not, and we don't know what's going to happen. Then in scene 5, the main character overcomes the challenge, or maybe they fail again. But even if they fail again the second time, you can still give the sense of we learned something. We learned something from that, and we came out feeling differently than we did the first time during the failure. So either way, give closure and show them going home having learned something new, because that's really our experience of facing challenges, is that like you go through it and then you learn something, and then as a character, you are changed on the other side. So if they have these 3 pieces of prep work, then the next step is to start writing the actual story. And then they can have a little notebook or a piece of binder paper or whatever format you want to use. And then they can start writing sentence by sentence that's called the drafting process.